Hello, and thank you for joining me today. I'm Angela Brown, and I'm here today with Terry Tucker. Now, Terry is a motivational coach. He's a published author of a book called Sustainable Excellence, and it's 10 Principles to Leading Your Uncommon and Extraordinary Life. And this is not somebody that just sat down and wrote a book. This is somebody that's actually walked in the trenches. He's lived the life. He's been a high school basketball coach, he's been a SWAT negotiator. He's worked in the healthcare industry. He's worked on the police force, and he has an entire business right now as a world renowned speaker and sought after coach on helping other people understand those moments in our lives where we get tripped up and we feel paralyzed and we can't move. And he helps us shake ourselves off that scared moment of, oh no, I don't know what to do next, and into that realization that I have the power to do something. So please help me welcome Terry Tucker. Terry, how are you today?
I am great, Angela. Thanks for having me on.
Today, our topic is on taking control and uncluttering our mind. And it sounds like you had a really clear mind when you decided to pivot your business. And you asked your wife, can you support me in this endeavor? And a lot of us haven't actually had those conversations. We just hope that if I go down this road, I hope my family is going to support me. And sometimes we don't actually ask for, are you going to support me in this? And so, what was it that you understood at that time that said, if I'm going to go down this road, I'm going to need all the support I can get. And I'm going to need to not play the Lone Ranger here, but I need everybody on my team to be on my team with me as I pursue that.
I think it was just the communication, knowing that in any relationship, I don't care if it's boss and subordinate, whether it's husband, wife, whether it's parent, child, the overarching theme of that is trust. And how do you develop trust? You develop it by helping the other person understand where you're coming from. Maybe not agree with it, but just to understand it. And that was one of the things that I did as a hostage negotiator. Hey, help me understand why we're in this situation. You may have just murdered three people. I'm not going to agree with you, but I want to understand it because understanding that kind of empathy leads to trust. And trust is where you can ask those tough questions. Will you support me in what I believe is my life's purpose? And you're right, those are hard questions to ask if you don't have the foundation of trust with that. And so I knew that. My wife and I have always been honest with her. I left law enforcement. I left what I loved doing because my wife lost her job in Cincinnati and we had to move to Texas. I was more than my job. My
Mhm.
family had always been, and again, that goes back to my parents. What did my parents teach us about family? It's about loving, caring, and supporting each other. Now it was my turn to love and care and support my wife in her endeavor. So I think you have to be in a trusting, committed, loving relationship to ask those things. But you're absolutely right. There are so many people out there that want to influence our lives. Maybe it's your Uncle Bob or your Aunt Sally. It's, hey, you're going to be a lawyer like me, or you're going to go into the family business. But you don't have a desire to do that. And when it's family, that's so difficult to tell those people, Uncle Bob, Aunt Sally, I'm not going to do that. I want to be an accountant. And that's my passion, my purpose in life. So it's having those hard discussions that are based on trust with another human being.
You said something a second ago that I don't want to slip by, so I want to double back around. You said, I was more than my job. And many of us get tripped up in the fact that we have a title. And I know this is true for a lot of the folks that join us here on this show, where they had a title and a specific role that they played. And then during the pandemic, the world kind of sent everybody home for a minute. And now you're the superintendent of what? Your kids who don't respect you. So there were a lot of people that got tripped up. They're like, wait a second, my identity just went out the window. And then the bosses are like, whoa, it's cheaper for us if you work from home. Don't come back. And they were like, whoa, wait a second. I had fancy clothes. I drove a nice car. And now they're waking up and they're wearing pajamas all day. And they're like, what is my meaning? So tell us when you say, I am more than my job, what does that mean?
Yeah, I experienced that with people that I worked with in law enforcement that had been on the job for, 30, 35, 40, 45 years. And as you said, have given people almost the shirt off their back. They had done so much for their community, but they couldn't retire because their entire identity was tied to I have a gun, I have a badge, I have authority. And I was never like that. Was law enforcement my purpose? I think it absolutely was. but it wasn't who I was. And I guess I try to explain it this way. So many of us seem to think that we are born empty. And that when we get out of school and we get into life, whatever that looks like for you, whether it's a job, whether you're working for somebody, whether you're an entrepreneur, whatever that looks like for you, that somehow your purpose then is to fill that emptiness. You've got to have a great education and get a great job and make a lot of money and have the greatest family and live in the nicest house and drive the nicest car and have the latest electronic gear. But what I've come to find, Angela, is it's just the opposite. We're not born empty. We're born full. We're born with everything we need to be successful, however you define that word, inside of us. We just need to find it, pull it out, and use it to our benefit. So I think that if you look at what makes a quality life or how do you have a quality life, it's not what you get, it's what you give. Your life should be about emptying your full self out, certainly for the betterment of yourself, but also for the betterment of your family, of your friends, of your community, of your country. And at the end of my life, I want to die empty. I want to pour myself out with all my unique gifts and talents for the betterment of other people. And I think if you do that, all of a sudden your focus changes. It's not about me. It's not about the nice car, the nice suits, the great clothes I'm wearing. It's about what can I give to make this world a better place.
I love that. And so, Terry, if you will, give our listeners a place where they can go to find you. I want you guys all to get a copy of his book. This is absolutely amazing. It's called Sustainable Excellence. And it is a whole entire series of philosophies that are going to renovate and change your life, just like some of the things that we heard from Terry today. So, Terry, thank you so much for your time. Where can our listeners go to find you?
I have a blog slash website. It's called motivationalcheck.com. And you can leave me a note there, a message. I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Thank you, Terry, so much for this amazing message of hope and of wellness and of belief in ourselves and in the ability to leave a legacy and to help those that we also love. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela.